Welcome back to the Caregiver Minute, where every weekday family and professional caregivers gather to refine their skills, gain inspiration, and prepare to serve. I recently had a follow-up call with one of my clients. This gentleman is an executive at a large investment firm. He's highly successful, but he also has a history of playing professional football, and he's dealing with all sorts of symptoms related to brain injuries. He's trying to do everything that he can to improve his brain. And he had made some real gains, but on this last call, I found out that he had drifted from some of those interventions. Now, I use the word drift intentionally because humans don't tend to fall off their goals. They drift off them little by little. And when we reviewed the interventions that he was applying in his life that had given him great results previously, half of them had gone by the wayside. Life had gotten in the way. He'd gotten busy with other kinds of things. One of the things that came out in that conversation is that he was feeling more stressed and overwhelmed than he had in a while. He had a lot of things going on in his life that weren't there just a few months ago. Some of them were by choice, and some of them he really couldn't get out of. They were just additional stressors piled on. And as we talked about that, I pointed out that he could choose to make health a non-negotiable. He knows the things that give him better outcomes, that help him not have a total sag in his energy later in the day, that help him remember things more effectively, that allow him to do a better job and to be more fully present at work. He knows what to do, but he had let many of those things go by the wayside because other things had taken their place. As we discussed what making his health a non-negotiable would look like, I pointed out that if health is non-negotiable, then if something else gets added to your plate, you're going to have to take something off your plate. And if health is non-negotiable, then your workout routine can't come off the plate. Eating really effectively can't come off the plate. The other interventions that we had talked about can't come off the plate. Something else is going to have to give in his life. That made sense to him, but he acknowledged that it was pretty counterintuitive for the way that he's lived his life. Previously, when something else came up, he's just found a way to squeeze it in and deal with the increased stress. It just didn't cause such a horrible effect on him to the point that his cognitive functioning was really tanking. Now he has to be very careful about that. I think there are two key things we can learn from my experiences with this client. Number one is that humans don't tend to fall off our goals as much as we drift from them. Slowly over time, we wind up in a different place. And if we want to get back to where we were, white-knuckling our way through a rapid change may not be as effective as drifting back on our goals, intentionally. If we're trying to get up early, instead of just setting the alarm for an hour and a half earlier, maybe we need to set it for 15 minutes earlier each day for several days, and that will help us to gradually drift back onto where we need to be. The second lesson that we can learn from this situation is the fact that some things in life need to be non-negotiable, and if they are, it's everything else that we make choices about. Once the decision is truly made that something is non-negotiable, it's everything else that we have to wrestle with. That means we have fewer things to grapple with, and it's just a matter of choosing what to take off our plate if life puts something else on our plate. I think that's valuable, especially in caregiving situations. When new stresses appear, when new things come up that we have to deal with to support the people that we're serving, what are we putting on our to-don't list? What are we taking off our plate so that we're giving room for the things that are most important? I hope you'll take some time today to consider where you've drifted off some of your priorities, and you'll consider what your non-negotiables are so that you can be clear about the areas where you do need to make some decisions from day to day. I hope that's helpful to you and the people you serve, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another episode of the Caregiver Minute.